folks. Again, like echo what Amanda said, I appreciate everyone being here. This is a long overdue event. Need to be here. A couple things, just because of the pandemic. We will need, if you're in the audience, to put your mask on, since we are going to stream it live. I hate to be able not to stream it live because some guys' families are watching live, and with the rules in the city and all this social distancing and the pandemic, we're going to have the masks on so we can stream it live. So we're just asked if you bear with us.
See if I need one.
If anyone needs one, see Amanda. But yeah, have your mask on during the live shot. If you're coming up to receive an award, and Chief Penn's going to speak without his mask. If you're up here, we're fine to not have them on, correct, Ed?
Yes.
But we're not going to need to have them. We really appreciate it, guys. We apologize for it, but this is what we're having, the adjustments we've got to make. And we long overdue doing this ceremony. So without further delay, we're going to get going. Again, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. This is extremely important.
Good afternoon. I am William Penn, Jr., one of the Assistant Chiefs of the Winston-Salem Police Department, and on behalf of the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department, I want to welcome you to our first virtual award ceremony, and I also want to thank you for being here with us. I'll be standing in for Chief Thompson today, who wanted to be here but had previous obligations that she had to attend to. So I get the honor and the privilege to help in honoring these heroic employees. There are many opportunities to come about on a day-to-day basis at the Winston-Salem Police Department where we can honor our employees. However, what you'll find out today during this ceremony, the recipients today stood the tallest. Before we begin, I want to take the opportunity to recognize everyone here to celebrate. I see the family members here, and I know you're proud of your loved ones. If there are any members from elected officials, seeing none, we'll move forward. When the individual's name is called, they'll come right up next to me. Family, take pictures, smile, beam, enjoy yourself while you're here. And for those of you watching on the city's channel, please bear with us as we try to navigate through this virtual ceremony for the first time. On Friday, December 20th, 2019 at 6:37 a.m., officers were dispatched to 2000 Lowry Street, City Sanitation, on a report of a shooting. It was reported that one victim had been shot and that the suspect was still there in possession of multiple firearms, waiting on police to arrive. Sergeant Sloan, Corporal Holmes, Officer Norman, and Officer Fall responded to the Bay Area of the City Sanitation Complex and encountered the suspect. Sergeant Sloan, seeing that the suspect was armed and placing himself directly in harm's way, selflessly directed Officer Norman and Corporal Holmes behind cover and attempted verbal contact with the suspect. At that very moment, the suspect began firing at the officers. Sergeant Sloan returned fire and was struck in the right leg and right abdomen area. He was able to stay in the fight and pull himself behind another position of cover while returning fire and protecting his officers. Seeing that Sergeant Sloan had been struck, Corporal Holmes and Officer Norman moved from their position of cover, placing themselves in imminent personal risk to return fire and to protect Sergeant Sloan. As this was transpiring, Officer Fall quickly approached the scene and also placed himself in harm's way in order to return fire. Officer Pringle and Corporal Reynolds arrived on the scene quickly. Officer Pringle retrieved his tourniquet and he placed it on Sergeant Sloan's upper right leg. Corporal Reynolds reacted quickly by removing his tourniquet and applying it to Sergeant Sloan's leg as well. Corporal Reynolds then used his knee to apply pressure above the wound in order to slow the blood loss. Prior to applying the tourniquet, the wound was bleeding heavily. After the application of the tourniquet, the loss of blood subsided. Dr. William Bozeman was the attending emergency room physician on that day and treated Sergeant Sloan upon his arrival. Dr. Bozeman stated that the officers that applied the tourniquet to Sergeant Sloan's leg probably saved his life and should be commended for their life-saving efforts. The immediate action, bravery, and selflessness of these officers prevented the further loss of life or serious injury in this unfortunate incident. These officers knew the risk involved and performed in a manner that far exceeded departmental standards. Based on the above fact, there are several awards that will be presented to these officers. Officers, when you hear your name, please come forward. The following officers exhibited exceptional courage regardless of personal safety in the attempt to save and protect human life. For this, the 2019 Medal of Valor is presented to Sergeant Sloan. It's weird not shaking hands now. It's just different. Corporal Holmes. Officer Fall. Officer Norman. Good job. Thank you for your continued service and bravery. Next, the immediate action, bravery, and selflessness of these officers prevented any further loss of life or serious injury in this unfortunate incident and likely saved Sergeant Sloan's life. For this, the 2019 Medal of Merit and 2019 Life Saving Award will be presented to Corporal Reynolds. And Officer Pringle. Next, the Rufus Dalton Award is a prestigious award, and the background may not be known to many. Rufus Dalton was born in Winston-Salem and grew up in the West End area of Winston-Salem. He was an employee of Wachovia Bank and never worked in law enforcement. However, there was something about the profession that apparently affected him personally. He designated 153 individual and 31 charitable institutions in his will. But his largest donation went to local law enforcement agencies through the establishment of the Rufus Dalton Trust in 1983. He designed the fund to honor the bravery of police officers injured in the line of duty or to compensate the spouse of an officer killed in the line of duty. While getting injured in the line of duty is not an officer's job description, it is, however, an unfortunate reality of the job. Sergeant Sloan, please come forward. You can stay here. Every year, the command staff recognizes an Officer of the Year. Given the excellent work and bravery shown by all of our officers daily, we have a number of officers who could have had this award bestowed upon them. But for 2019, the command staff would like to recognize Sergeant Sloan as the Winston-Salem Police Department's Officer of the Year. We would also like to thank Robert Simon from Windsor Jewelers for the award of a Hamilton watch to Sergeant Sloan in recognition of his public service. Just keep going. You can sit. Okay. Now we will move on to our 2019 Employees of the Year. Short staff and a heavy workload is just one of the few obstacles that is put before our IT division, who have steadily increased as technology continues to become a necessity in public safety. Senior systems analysts Stan Johnson and Grant Madron are known for their exceptional work they do as senior system analysts for the IT division. They both work closely with police and fire personnel and are known for their patience, responsiveness, and willingness to assist. Winston-Salem Fire Chief Mayo said, "Whenever I need help, whether it's the weekend, after hours, they are always there and available." Information Technology Division Director Julia Conley can always be found working long hours to update tables, softwares, preparing data, and creating reports for police and fire personnel while also evaluating software and agency technology needs. She has a positive attitude, and even when tasked with just one more project, she happily accepts and gets to work. In 2019, the Winston-Salem Police Department transitioned to NIBRS, which is an acronym for National Incident-Based Reporting System. This change was mandated at both the state and federal level and requires a significant amount of time and preparation. IT staff spend hours updating software, working with personnel from Central Square, meeting with Forsyth County Sheriff's Office IT and personnel, coordinating dates and times for updates and outages, speaking with the SBI's crime reporting unit, and updating our own mobile field reporting systems. This was a huge undertaking for Julia, Grant, and Stan, and because everything was time sensitive and had to be ready by July 1st, 2019. So at 6 o'clock in the morning on July 1st, 2019, our transition to NIBRS was live and underway. And Julia, Grant, and Stan were there helping to oversee this successful transition. Part of the NIBRS transition required all officers to complete an update of their laptop computers. Grant worked to ensure that extra update stations were set up in the district offices, Beatty, and the Public Safety Center. Additionally, he helped other IT staff set up laptops at Beatty for use in the classroom training sessions for personnel. In the weeks following our switch to NIBRS, as expected, there were glitches and issues that needed to be worked out and corrected, and Julia, Grant, and Stan handled these promptly. Moving to NIBRS was only a small fraction of what this hard-working trio did in 2019. You may not know it, but we have building renovations taking place that year, the moving of entire divisions, consideration and implementation of NetMotion software, and beginning the fire department's transition to fireworks. For their efforts, they've been awarded the 2019 Employee of the Year Award. We again would like to thank Rob Simon of Windsor Jewelers for their award of a Visconti writing instrument. Julia Conley, will you please come forward?
Let's see how we do this.
I think we could do it.
Thank you.
Good job, Julia. Stan Johnson. And Grant Madron. Yes.
I just wanted to add that we are proud to have our significant conjunction with not only the Winston-Salem Police Department, but the Winston-Salem Police Foundation. And these gifts that we're giving are on behalf of the foundation as well as Windsor Jewelers. So it's nice to have that affiliation together, and it's been many years. We're something we look forward to each year, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart as well as from our business for all the efforts put forth from everybody in the department. Thank you for that. Thanks.
Again, I want to thank the employees for their exceptional dedication to the police department and the citizens of Winston-Salem. I also would like to thank again Rob Simon and Windsor Jewelers, as well as our great Winston-Salem Police Foundation for what they do for us all throughout the year. We at the police department, we train and we plan for almost any type of situation you can think of. However, as Mike Tyson so eloquently stated at one time, everyone has a plan until they get hit. And what Michael was trying to say was, a plan is great, but when you get hit or when the bullets literally are flying your way, it's going to take more than a plan to keep going. So when these officers responded to that shooting 5 days before Christmas in 2019, they literally faced gunfire directed towards them. And we often state that it's during these times that that's when our training kicks in and we do what we need to do. But I'd argue that before that training kicks in, something else kicks in, and it's character. And character kicks in and allows the training to manifest. The character of these officers, the commitment to protecting and serving everyone in danger on that day is what allowed the training to kick in. Chief Thompson often speaks about how our officers show love to the community without saying it. She says that the moment we put on this ballistic vest, this badge, this gun, and we leave the house, understanding that we may not make it home that evening, protecting someone that we may not even know, is the ultimate sign of love. And I'd say the example of these officers on that day best illustrates the very thing she speaks of with the love they showed the community. And with that said, let's give them one more round of applause, please. Also, we've all known the employee who lives by the motto, I'll do my 8, then hit the gate. And we know that employee that's always seeking that recognition. So it's very inspiring when you have the Julia, the Grant, and the Stans who work behind the scenes, weekend, holiday, and long hours to ensure that the agency has the tools needed to provide that exceptional service to the community, which is what we state in our mission statement. These employees represent the best in our agencies. And for that, let's give them one more round of applause. And finally, please don't let it be lost on you that both groups of employees recognized today were recognized with their supervisors, their leaders. Sergeant Sloan led his group on a Lowry Street, and when he went down, in true leadership form, his team stepped up and demonstrated their leadership. When Julia's in the office, long after quitting time, ensuring that the agency has what they need, it's no surprise that Grant and Stan demonstrate that same type of commitment. M.D. Arnold states, a good leader leads the people from above them. A great leader leads the people from within. I want to thank you all for your leadership, and it just shows the Winston-Salem Police Department is in great hands. On behalf of Chief Thompson and the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department, thank you all for being here. Thank you to all employees of the Winston-Salem Police Department for all they do to help keep the community safe. Thank you to the community for the support so that we can keep you safe. And with that said, we'll conclude. Families, take pictures, hug, enjoy today, and everyone else, have a great day. Thank you.